Sludge Bomb, gonna rock the unshielded jump off deep into the red health range. We see the pivot into Sharpedo. Oh, Boston, say it ain't so. Sharpedo being sacrificed for the greater good. Acrobatics removes that Sharpedo, and every Sharpedo's ever entered the Go Battle League from the field of play. Weezing gets the rollout farm down. Out comes Golurk, but Golurk gonna be straight in and straight out. Welcome back to the channel, a place that I like to call the home of Shadow Pokemon. And on the 14th of May, 2025, we're going to have yet another Team Rocket takeover. And I, for one, cannot wait. As if I'm being brutally honest, I am so bored of this bloody game at this point. Niantic/Scopely, whoever's in charge at this company at this point, as always, are being super stingy, only giving us 4 new Shadows. But I think 3 of them are certainly going to have some play. Shadow Malamar, need I say any more? Shadow Aurora should have some good anti-meta play, especially in the Ultra League, where Dragons reign supreme. And then we've got Tyrant. I think Tyrant's going to be pretty good in some certain cups. Those of you that play the Show 6 circuit, stuff like Battle Frontier, it does have some niche play. The one Pokemon I've failed to mention is going to be Shadow Slackoff. If this was released about 4 or 5 seasons ago, we would have had a top meta threat. But unfortunately, Counter, Body Slam and Rock Slide have all been nerfed, and this thing is going to be absolutely horrendous. However, that won't stop me using it, but just don't expect me to get many wins. I'll probably go around 4 and 21, and it's going to be super frustrating. To help us whet our appetite for the upcoming Team Rocket takeover, my favourite battle in the world, the one and only Xboston, is flexing hard with some insane Shadow Spice, pulling off victories that only he can pull off. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. Usually we would have team graphics on the left, but every single battle, I believe, is going to be showcasing different Shadow Pokemon, and I am shoutcasting these blind. And in battle number 1, we are not off to a good start. Leading our fully maxed out Nidarina into Malamar. We see the Say Switch into Sneasel, and the opponent, like a savage, opt to go for the bait. Boston returns fire with the foul play, which the opponent catch, although Lorantus gets completely deleted by the Ice Shards in a blink of an eye. Back out comes Malamar. Sneasler, this is your time to shine, buddy. We're going to fire off the foul play, force the Protect Shield, and the opponent's still going to be forced to throw a superpower. Oh wait, hold that thought. Even a resisted foul play removes the Glassy Sneasel from the field of play. Boston sends back out Nidarina, farms up, looks to make a savage foul play catch onto Linoon, banking his energy in the process. Foul play doesn't do much. Boston interestingly opting for Lick as opposed to Snarl. Out comes Toxapex. Body Slam, like I said in the intro, is now an absolutely terrible move. Hence I'm not looking forward to using Vigor off, and that does not do much of anything. Boston still with a shield to hide behind. Looks like he's hedging his bets on Nidarina. We're able to survive the Brine, but not able to reach the Body Slam, and it's Nidarina versus the world. Nidarina hits the field of play, goes straight for the Thunderbolt. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Get that Toxapex off my screen. Back out comes Malamar. They've still got a shield to hide behind, but I do agree with throwing the Poison Fang, as this will be debuffing their defense. It's going to be Psywave versus Poison Sting. The opponent makes a huge mistake, opting to throw a charge move. We sneak the Poison Sting. The opponent looks to Psywave, farm down. Nidarina says no, and just like that, Boston takes that game. Heading into the next battle. This time we've got the male variant of Nidarino in the lead. Again, this thing needs to be almost fully excelled. I think you need to be like level 48.5. For optimal IVs, Boston tanks the Rock Tomb, goes straight for the Ice Beam. Does the opponent respect the damage? Ice Beam! Oh, it doesn't even one-shot. You see the attempted snipe with Shiftry unsuccessfully. What is going on? Why would you grass not a grass type? And then why would you switch out a Psywave user into our Dark type? Of course, Dark double resist Psychic. Not that we're complaining. Boston going to be going for the Leaf Blade spam. The first one, force the Protect Shield. The second one lands for monstrous damage, instantly putting the opponent into the red health range. For the second consecutive battle, our Dark type's been knocked out by a resisted foul play. Out comes Murkrow. Murkrow able to get the farm down. Out comes Gator. Oh, baby. No, we attempt to catch. The catch attempt unsuccessful, but Boston able to fire off the dig. Dig, force the final Protect Shield. The opponent sends out Cradily. Why? I'm not entirely sure. This is honestly one of the strangest battles I've ever seen. Murkrow gonna fire off the Drill Peck, and from this range, Drill Peck is gonna be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. I am so glad that I cracked an ice cold beer before shoutcasting these battles, and this is gonna be one hell of a roller coaster. Heading into the next battle, Boston, using one of my favourite Pokemon. I think the design for Scolopide is sick. Unfortunately, the moveset somewhat underwhelming. Although, oof, that X-Scissor does a lot. I think Glassy Shadow Pokemon like Scolopide and Anti-Meta Monster Beedrill, much preferred X's back in the days when it only cost 35 energy. It did less damage, but you were far spammier to charge moves. Boston sent out Honchkrow, able to get the Snarl farmed out at the cost of almost half his HP. Out comes Clodsire. Clodsire greeted with the Dark Pulse. Boston willing to tank the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb, of course, removes us from the field of play. Talking about glassy Pokemon, Honchkrow is ridiculous. If you even look at it the wrong way, it faints. Shadow Crawdon hits the field of play with 2 shields to hide behind. Boston wastes no time, fires off the Night Slash, then able to make the catch back onto the low health Scolopide, keeping 2 shields intact. Sludge Bomb picks up the knockout, back out, comes Crawdon. Thankfully the opponent applying very little fast move pressure, as once again this is such a glassy Pokemon. Night Slash picks up the knockout, out comes Malamar, and oh boy, we all know how this one's going to end. Psywave double resisted, the opponent can have a near impossible task of trying to Psywave farm us down. All Boston's got to do is farm up to the double Night Slash, 1 to force the Protect Shield and 1 to remove them from the field of play. Boston, I believe at the double, if not with 1 Snarl short. Night Slash forced the Protect Shield, the opponent opting to throw as well. Why? I have no idea, as they're just going to get outpaced. Boston throws the 1 Snarl required to reach the next Night Slash, and Crawdon will be emerging victorious. GG's. Heading into the next battle, Boston leads Kanto Weezing into the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death as we're running rollout. A very advantageous matchup for us. The opponent attempts to catch a charge move onto Clodsire, and here comes Sharpedo. Just look at the waterfall damage. Yes, Boston, shield that charge move up and look for the farm down. Did we just get Acid Sprayed? Huh? Acid Spray Clodsire. Well, that's a first. I have never seen that moveset in my life. This should only be an Acid Spray. Can we survive? I'm not too hopeful. Or why doubt Sharpedo? You bulky boy buddy. Able to survive. Out comes Morpeko. And Morpeko is going to provide a problem for us. Boston sends out Lightbard. I have no idea why this thing doesn't learn Sucker Punch. Its Pre-Evolution Purloin does. And I think it's an absolute travesty that we don't get it. The opponent went for the double resisted Psychic Fangs bait. Boston, unlike his opponent, full sends the play rough, force the final Protect Shield, then go for the wham bam combo play, give the opponent that Big Mac and the fries they did not order. Sludge Bomb picks up the knockout, back out comes Talonflame. Boston reaches Sludge Bomb number 2, claims back-to-back victims, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see another Clodsire in the lead. If we get Acid Sprayed here, honestly, I'm just going to end the video and stop making content. I can't take this anymore. The opponent farms to 7, so there should be a Stone Edge, right? Boston invests the Protect Shield. Shielding up the Stone Edge, which isn't a bad shield. Weezing, ironically, the bulkiest member of the team, we return fire with the Dark Pulse, which doesn't do much of anything, and Lightbard hits the field of play. Whilst Weezing is the bulkiest member of the team, we are running an ABB team, where Weezing is on the team to provide cover for any fighters or fairies, so we do need to keep it around. So that shield did make sense. It looks like Clodsire attempting to mudshot farm down Lightbard, but Lightbard holds strong, reaching the Dark Pulse, removing big bad bulky Clodsire from the field of play. Out comes Jumpluff. The opponent running PV Pokes number 1 and number 2 rank pick, and Boston in his Spice Zone looking to pick up a dub. We fire off the Sludge Bomb, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent continues to stay in. Boston reaches the next Sludge Bomb, which is going to rock this Jumpluff deep into the red health range. Sludge Bomb does connect. We then send out Sharpedo. Oh no, Boston, say it ain't so, buddy. Sharpedo being sacrificed to the Pokegods. Acrobatics probably knocks out that Sharpedo and any Sharpedo that's ever entered the Go Battle League. Weezing able to roll out farm down. Out comes Golurk, but blink and you might miss it as Golurk going to get one shot vanquished back to its Pokeball, and we take that game. The opponent definitely should have sent out Golurk rather than staying in with Jumpluff. Although even if they did that, Sharpedo would have deleted it in just a few waterfalls. In the next battle, we see Nidarina into the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. Boston going for the Poison Fang bait, anticipating a shield, and the opponent does exactly that and bank their energy in the process. The opponent then sends out Gastrodon, and here comes Linoon. Poor old Linoon going for non-stab licks and body slam spam, although the opponent clearly has no idea on the moveset and invests the Protect Shield, blocking up the first body slam. They then full send the Earth Power, almost picking up the one shot, removing us from the field of play. Boston now have a 2-0 shield advantage. Sneasel hits the field of play, and of course we get one turn bring in because this game is absolute dog shit. Sorry, not sorry. The opponent attempts to snipe with Talonflame, but trainer, you're in for a surprise. Avalanche picks up the one shot. Get that Talonflame off my screen. What a boon. Boston then makes very good use of the misaligned timers, banks a charge move on Sneasel, looking to knock out that Gastrodon later, sends out Nidarina, fires off the Thunderbolt, removing Gastrodon from the field of play, and this game is signed, sealed and delivered. Although, as I say that, we've already got one turn bring in once in this battle. As long as our move shows up, we will be emerging victorious. Thankfully, the game doesn't screw us. We hit the foul play and take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Venomoth into Drifblim. It's a no thank from Boston and a save switch into Cacturn. The opponent takes an absolute eternity before sending out Morpeko. Morpeko going to be greeted with the Trailblaze. Trailblaze forces that Protect Shield. Is Boston going to fight for alignment here? Oh my gosh. No shot. The opponent went for the Psychic Fangs bait, which is a decision they might live to regret. Even from here, Psychic Fangs won't be lethal. Cacturn might be glassy, but double resisted, that simply is not cutting it. When have you ever seen Cacturn tank 2 charge moves? That is probably a world record first. Boston able to flip alignment and obtain himself a shield advantage in the mid-game matchup due to the opponent masturbating like an absolute potato. If I'm being brutally honest, Boston sends out Venomoth. Venomoth going to go for the Poison Fang. Poison Fang not going to do much of anything, but clearly the opponent has no idea on the moveset. Boston happy to sacrifice Venomoth to the Pokegods. I can't believe we actually survived that Rock Tomb. Venomoth, you're bulky like that. Mightyena hits the field of play. Boston with 2 shields, but refusing to shield anything. And we are going to get a very nice 2 shield flex. Mightyena going to fire off the Dazzling Gleam. Is it necessary? Super necessary. And we take that game. As someone who's used Mightyena this season, I clearly should have known that it learns Play Rough and not Dazzling Gleam. If it did have Dazzling Gleam, it'd probably be even better than it currently is. In the next battle, we see a Battle of Spice. The opponent go for a double resisted Brick Break. That's certainly a choice. Before pivoting out, Boston going to fire off the Poison Fang and the incoming Slowbro. And blink and you might miss it. Cacturn absolutely deletes Slowbro in the blink of an eye and out comes Typhlosion. Of course, it's an absolute atrocious matchup for us. But a few boosted Sucker Punches. Oh my gosh. Almost removed Typhlosion from the field of play. Cacturn is so oppressive. It is kind of absurd. Boston sends out Mightyena. Boston, what are you doing, buddy? No, we call the Thunder Punch. Did we need to do that? Not really. Boston then makes a catch as well. All sorts of shenanigans going on. The opponent again fire off the Brick Break. We should be able to Sucker Punch farm that everything. And once again, Boston is going to get a 2 shield flex. Another crazy win. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we've got Shadow and Shadow Crime. Nidorino into Feraligatr. Shadow and Shadow Crime, these poison jabs are going to do crazy damage. We attempt to catch a Hydro Cannon onto Shiftry. Our catch attempt unsuccessful. Boston correctly shields up the Ice Beam. The opponent then sends out Morpeko. As Callum would say, more than fine for us. We've got a huge energy lead. Leaf Blade, forced to Protect Shield. Can Shiftry survive an Aura Wheel? In Shiftry, I believe. Oh man, why are people Psychic Fangs baiting our Dark types? I have no words. Shiftry gonna fire off the next Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Trainer, have you learnt your lesson? Boston actually correctly shields the Aura Wheel, going all in on Shiftry, and I don't hate it. Boston over farms, fires off the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade will be moving Morpeko from the field of play. Out comes Grumpig. Grumpig going to be greeted with the Foul Play. Foul Play has been reworked to do less damage, but someone forgot to tell Shiftry. Shiftry absolutely popping off. My. Out comes Gator. Gator straight in and straight out. We then pivot into Nidorino. Go for the unnecessary Ice Beam because why bloody not? And take that game. As you can tell by a huge amount of lag, the opponent has rage quit the app. I think if I'm honest, they're probably throwing their phone out the window. And they're probably never going to play Go Battle League ever again. Boston, I hope you're proud of yourself, buddy. And to that trainer, I hope your phone's insured. In the next battle, we see Scolopide into the Mighty Blue Mouse Azumarill. Boston's opted to shield in. I don't dislike it. If the opponent's staying in, they've clearly got something else that isn't going to appreciate a Scolopide hiding somewhere in the back. And the opponent's even shielding this matchup, which is certainly a choice. Boston attempts to catch. The catch attempt was actually one early, so this can only be an Ice Beam. Trainer, learn your typings. The opponent then banks some energy before sending out Alteria. Boston going to be very appreciative of the huge energy lead when taking resisted bubbles as opposed to the very oppressive Dragon Breath. Unfortunately, we don't see a boost. We fire off the next Night Slash, actually forcing a Protect Shield, but unable to reach one more before we get Dragon Breath farmed all the way down. Alteria rarely seen in the Go Battle League nowadays, and the reason for that is it takes 16 years to get the charge moves. Well, actually 19 Dragon Breaths. With that in mind, Scolopide comes back out, outpaces to the Sludge Bomb. We pivot into Honchkrow. Talonflame makes a temporary appearance before Azumarill re-enters the arena. Boston, where's the Brave Bird, buddy? Perhaps a TM crisis. We have got a Rocket Takeover event coming up, so I can't blame him for being a bit stingy with them TMs. We're going to go down the route of double Dark Pulse, and either way, this one will be ended with Honchkrow putting on a clinic, nuking Talonflame from the skies. GG's, and thanks for playing. Huge shout out to Xboston, once again showcasing why he's my favourite battler. That was incredible and so much fun. To end today's video, we're going to take a look at Shadow Obstagoon, courtesy of myself providing the footage. Should you use Obstagoon in the Remix Cup? No, you should not. I got absolutely clapped. I got 7 wins, 1 tie, and like 17 losses or something. It was horrendous. The main reason is counter has been nerfed and it is so slow to charge moves, taking 12 turns to a 35 energy move, which is just ridiculous. To help cover Obstagoon's vulnerabilities to bug types, which I've actually sent Obstagoon into here, fairies as well as fighters, we've gone for an Amoonguss closer and a Dust Noir safe switch. Obstagoon, even as a shadow, respectively bulky, able to tank the X's, fire off the Night Slash, getting the necessary boost. We pivot into Amoonguss and out comes Chestnut. We love Chestnut on this channel, but if this opponent don't know, I don't bait, they're going to be very sad. Chestnut gets one-shot vanquished, back to its Pokeball, and we pick up a very rare dub, heading into the next battle. We see Shadow and Shadow Crime with Obstagoon into Typhlosion. I'd much prefer to be Typhlosion in this battle, but we showcase that quite a lot, so we're going to try out Obstagoon. We managed to obtain ourselves an early shield advantage. The opponent banks a boatload of energy and send out Toxapex. We bank a Night Slash for the road, and Dust Noir hits the field of play. This should be a good matchup for us. I'm not complaining, it is a good matchup. You can see these Shadow Punches don't do much of anything, and you need multiple to knock out the ever bulky Toxapex. The opponent fire off the Brine. Of course, good fast move time and using a 3-turn move into a 2-turn move is just throwing an odd number. The opponent actually opted to throw again, and I'm thinking, do you know what? Amoonguss with energy might go places. The opponent actually send out Venusaur rather than Typhlosion. I'm not complaining. Again, we full send the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb rocks Venusaur into the red health range. We're able to combo, fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash force the final Protect Shield, and we should be home and dry. With 2 shields, I think essentially my win con is just going to be to fast move, beat down everything. Amoonguss pretty slow to charge moves. The opponent sends out Typhlosion. Of course, I'm always shielding this move up. This is likely a Thunder Punch bait, but do I care? When I've lost this many battles, absolutely not. The opponent sends back out Toxapex. This is only a Brine. This is not a Sludge Wave, so I've got no intention of shielding this up. Brine doesn't do much of anything. Back out comes Typhlosion. We're able to Astonish Farm down and take that game. Obstagoon into Golurk. We're going to see the immediate pivot into Dust Noir. Jonkers. Why did you post this team? Out comes Dash Hounds. This is certainly going to be a nonsense double charm team. Is Jamie Finn going to be on the losing end against this toxic strategy? When I played this, I hope not. Did I lose? Well, I guess you're going to have to stay tuned to find out. The opponent, of course, shield, desperate to keep alignment. We send out Obstagoon. Why? Because I don't want to shield unnecessarily. The opponent go for the Psychic Fangs. That's double resisted, and Obstagoon's actually going to be able to reach the Night Slash. From this range, Night Slash will be removing them from the field of play. The opponent actually shield again, which certainly works for me, then snipe with their second Charmer. But hello, buddy. Hi, buddy. Meet the biggest core breaker for this team. Its name is Shadow Amoonguss, and Shadow Amoonguss is now in a prime position to sweep. We're going to shield at the Weather Ball. I'm actually going to fire off the Foul Play. And the reason for this is I don't actually want to knock him out. Foul Play. We'll put him in a range where we can Astonish Farm down. And all I've got to do is ensure the Foul Play lands on its intended target. The opponent has got a Psychic Fangs bank. They actually throw it instantly. Okay, buddy, that isn't going to save you. I can just shield this up. The Astonish will be knocking out. Back out comes Golurk. I'll get off a couple of Astonishes, ensuring this Foul Play is going to be lethal. And we are going to take that game. Double Charm, not today, buddy. Heading into the next battle, we see a very scuffed matchup. My counters are resisted, they're sideways, double resisted, but dynamic punch is double super effective. Whoa, that was a mouthful. We're able to catch the double resisted dynamic punch onto Dust Noir, and out comes yet another Altaria. What is this thing doing on my screen, honestly? Altaria are actually going to be pretty good into my Shadow Dust Noir. They can even tank this next charge move and commit to a Dragon Breath farm down before we Hex farm them down. I was tempted to bring out a Moongus, anticipating and blind throwing a Moonblast. What I'm actually going to do is send out Obstagoon, a shield once, and get the counter farm down. Of course, Obstagoon was supposed to be the featured Pokemon. It's done essentially nothing, so I'm just investing a Protect Shield, trying to get it to put in some work. Opponent gives up switch, sending out Grumpig. We fire off the Night Slash, bank a Night Slash, make the second dynamic punch catch of the battle, this time onto a Moongus. Unfortunately, it's only single resisted, but still doesn't do much of anything. This Mushroom, pretty tick. Out comes Florges. This isn't enough for a Moonblast, so it's likely a Trailblaze, or actually Disarming Voice, but either way, one is survivable. We're going to throw one Astonish and the Foul Play. This isn't even a bait at this point, we just need to get off some damage. We need to be mindful the opponent might try and make a catch. There's the catch attempt. We're able to Astonish farm down. We've got back-to-back Foul Plays here, so all I've got to do is throw them both right. I looked at my health and thought, fuck it, let's go for the Sludge Bomb. No, I get farmed down. What am I doing? I've played this battle since pre-season, and I actually think this is the biggest throw I've ever done. Just hit the Foul Play. A Foul Play plus Night Slash would be lethal, but like this, the game looks like it's going to end in defeat. We messed the Protect Shield. Can we counter farm down before the Fairy registers? No, we cannot. That is an absolute potato play. Jamie. Honestly, horrendous. Well, that is just about going to wrap things up for today's Shoutcast. A huge shout out to Xboston for providing some insane battles to start us off. And then I guess we just rounded it off with Obstagoon. Don't run it, horrendous. But if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you'd like your battles featured on my channel, a link to the battle submission form is down below. And I'm going to go crack open another cold beer because this has been too much for me. And I'll see you all in the next one.